There are some people in life who have experienced such trauma. They've gone through something awful. And in their minds, they've concluded God must not be good. You may be that kind of person who's gone through something awful and you've wondered, God, why did this happen? God, why didn't you stop this? God is not afraid of that question. But what often happens is when people ask the question, they don't linger long enough for an answer. God's not afraid of our questions. He never has been. But it is as we question him, he invites us to simply sit at his feet and to wait for the answer. So I think there are some who've come to that conclusion that either God isn't real or certainly not good because of the trauma that is in their lives. But I think the vast majority of people who come to that conclusion that there is no God, it's not because of some trauma they have experienced, but it is because of some sin they have committed. And so in their heart, that sin in the moment seems so comforting, so good, so pleasurable that they decide God isn't good for me. That sin becomes more attractive than God. Sin can slip in, just as it did in the garden, and can convince us that God isn't good or that God doesn't have our best interests at heart, and that sin can offer certain things that it never fully delivers. But in the moment, that sin can then lead us to conclude God isn't good for me. And so for those who've had trauma who decide God isn't good, or those who are practicing sin who decide God isn't good for me, then they begin to say it's just much easier to remove God from the situation, to move him out of the conversation.